Hi, my name is Mark Adams, and welcome to the Private Label Report. This is a podcast where I invite you into my office and we talk about all things Amazon Private Label. Pull up a chair. Let's get started.
Well, hello everyone and welcome. I know it's been a while since I've done a podcast, but just want to welcome you back. Been going through some things personally, taking some time off, enjoying life, all types of things. But back with a vengeance now as we're going to go forward with all kinds of exciting things over the next few months. And just a little bit of the for what it's worth category. Been away doing some testing, doing some things I think are going to be exciting as far as coming out with the Amazon world, as far as driving some outside traffic and maybe expanding into some different e-commerce things as we go forward. But we'll get into all that in the weeks to come. But as you'll notice, got a little bit of a different background here. So I'm actually hanging off of the balcony of my hotel room here in Waikiki Beach in Honolulu. So having the time of my life, taking a little bit of time off. But actually, I'm on the way to the Canton Fair for my private label Canton event, and I decided to stop here for a few days. For where I live on the East Coast, it's about a halfway trip. So it literally breaks the trip up into almost half. So it's kind of loud outside. It's 7:30 in the morning here. However, we already got people outside. If you can see out in the water, I doubt you can see out in the water here, but there's already about 100 people in the morning who are trying to learn how to surf. It's really exciting. I've had the time of my life, but had a chance to rent a convertible the other day, drove around the island, did all the types of things, did a sunset cruise, had the opportunity to go to Pearl Harbor, which was really a very thrilling yet humbling experience, and tremendously thrilled that I had the opportunity to do that. The USS Missouri is out there, which is a battleship, and that's, if you've ever seen the pictures, that's where they signed the treaty to end World War II. And as fate would have it, my father actually served on that ship during the Korean War. So for me, I get to be able to see that was a thrill as well. But anyway, back to today's topic. I want to talk about something today that I think is really maybe the most important thing that we do, whether it be in our Amazon business or anything else for that matter. I was actually on a cruise, not like a cruise, but like a catamaran type cruise. There was a young couple, I don't know, mid-20s maybe, sitting there, and we started talking, and they asked me what I did, and for all of us, it's hard to explain what we do. Nobody really gets it, but we got going, and we got just talking about things, and I've had the good fortune to travel in between all my different businesses. And for whatever reason, this young couple was enamored with the fact that I can come and go, do my business, passive income like we've all talked about. And over my life, I've had the opportunity to travel as much as I did. And it was really as I was walking back after we got off the boat and everything else, I'm thinking, I have had the opportunity to live an extraordinary life. And not just for Amazon, but throughout my business career. And that's really because of so many things, but primarily I think it's the decisions that I have made along the way. Recently, I went back to my 35th high school reunion. And I grew up in a small little town, little mill town type of thing, and I looked at all the people there and all the wonderful people. They've done nothing but turn into their parents. And as I was driving home, I wondered, and I lived an hour and a half away, and I was driving back, and why is it that I have been able to get out of that? Why is it that I've been able to travel the world and have 99% of the things that I want and live a life that I just, every day I wake up and say, this is the life that I wanted to live. And I'm very, very appreciative of that, very humble and very, I don't know what the word would be, I can't express it, but there's not a day that goes by that I don't acknowledge the good fortune that I've had. As I'm sitting here looking at the beach, talking to this couple, I'm sitting here thinking, it's got to be about decisions. Actually, in the Private Label Academy we do, which is for more advanced Amazon members, we had a discussion on this the other day, and it just dawns on me, it's probably more my responsibility to share this than it is for other people to figure it out, because unless you have the time and experience that I have, it's hard to have the time or the ability to reflect on this and say, maybe this is important. So I'm really sitting here thinking, as we go forward, and we're going to introduce all kinds of new things, new ideas going forward in the rest of this year, I want to lay the foundation, I want to lay the groundwork, and I want to say, what is it that makes somebody successful, whether it's an Amazon business, whether it's in anything that you do, your personal life, your professional life, financial life, whatever it may be. And as I've had a lifetime of experience and time to reflect, I'm thinking it's got to be your decision-making process. There is no magic formula. I don't think there is any magic secret of life. It's funny, I probably at this point, and I don't keep count, it could be higher or lower, but I probably have coached I don't know, maybe 500 people one-on-one through different various formats and different things. And over every one of those calls, every person seems to always want to talk about, well, what do you think of my product? Or what can we do about my keywords? Or what about my pictures? All more technical things in nature. And you know what? I think that's fine. That's important. However, I've sold 6 businesses. I've done all kinds of things because I've made good decisions. And not a single person has asked me about the decision process that I did to go from come from one of the poorest areas in the country to being very comfortable in a lifestyle and very comfortable financially and everything else that I do. And that just kind of, I don't know why that is. So maybe I want to set a little bit of groundwork here, lay a little bit of foundation, and maybe I've just got a list of questions I've written down that I want to read off, and I want to maybe plant the seed for you to start thinking about your decisions, because ultimately, as we get older and we look back and reflect on our life, we are defined by our decisions. We end up where we are because of our decisions. It's not, every now and then somebody comes along and they have one great idea and it propels them into whatever it is. Sometimes parents don't take care of their kids and let them go wild, but again, we're no wise, so why not? But when you're thinking about decisions, what's the process you go through? And I don't mean some stupid flow chart, some idiotic process like that. It's a thing that it's artistic in nature. It's a process that you go through. But I think part of it really starts with asking questions. One of the questions would be, what do you do to get in a creative state of mind? I don't know about any of you, but I've never advanced my life or solved any problems unless I was in a creative state of mind. Somehow you have to find a way to be able to spend a certain part of your day each day trying to think of how to make your life better, how to solve the problems. Any problem solving starts with asking the question, how do I do it better? Or what can I do to make it more efficient? Something like that. What can I do to add the next layer of success to my life? Frustrated. When you're frustrated, how do you keep going? Well, we all get frustrated. I get frustrated every day on something. We all do. But the reality of it is I walk away for a couple minutes, I try and clear my head, and I come back. And all of these things, by the way, doesn't mean that you don't get frustrated. It just means that you find ways to manage the frustration and then move forward. Okay? That's something that's extremely important. Most people, when they get frustrated, and they get frustrated very easily, they end up quitting. All right? Right? The thing that kind of builds on frustration is, what do you do when you're afraid? We all have comfort levels. We all have things that we're somewhat defined by how we grew up. That's our standard. That's what we exceed. And as I talk to these coaching students, I come across people who, some of them I think are absolutely brilliant. They've come up with ideas that I would have never thought of in 1,000 years. And I'm thinking, how come they're not making $1 million a year on this idea? How come they're not making $5 million? Well, the real answer is they have a comfort level that they are afraid to exceed. I'm at a point right now where I have everything I want. You can always make more money. You can always have other things you want. But I think part of it is going back and defining what you really, really want in life, and then being able to try and reach that. And again, doesn't mean you're not afraid and you're not uncomfortable out of that level. However it is, you got to find a way to exceed that. Another thing, I see people get bogged down with things in their personal life, and they can't focus on their business because they're involved in things in their personal life. Well, we all have things in our personal life, and the reality of it is whether, again, it's fear, frustration, whatever it is, you have to find ways to block things out in your personal life and then be able to go through and do them in your business life. I'm dealing with tremendous things in my personal life right now, some health issues, family issues, things like that, other things that are very, very hard. And if I didn't have the lifestyle I have now, it would be even 10 times harder to take care of. So ultimately in this, I'm where I am today because of decisions. And what I would encourage each of you to do is go back and forget about the keywords for a minute. Forget about the where your listing is for a second. Take a step back and just go back and try to reflect on where you are and where you come in life and what it is that you did that made something turn out well in the past part of your life. And I will bet you that going forward, if you can find a way to reproduce that or replicate it, then your life will get better going forward. But we're going to spend some time on these podcasts and some other things going forward, because again, this is where everybody thinks it's technical, and that's obviously some of it. But if you want to scale your business, and if you really want to get to the next level, and you really want to be sitting here looking at places like this and enjoying things and touring the islands and doing the things that you had on your bucket list going forward, then instead of being like the guy who had a heart attack right here and is not having a good time here in Hawaii, you'll be able to enjoy your life. You'll be able to get the things that you want, because I would suspect that all of you got in the Amazon or e-commerce business simply because you wanted a better life. You wanted passive income. While I've been here, my net worth has increased. Every time I open my phone, I've gotten paid for something. When I was on the boat with this young couple from Boston, for like half an hour, I made $500. These are the types of things that allow you to have a stress-free life, so you don't end up in an ambulance that just went by. So, folks, I'm just sitting here. We're gonna take a little bit of change in direction. We're gonna get into some different things going forward on the podcast. I've got some things coming out. They're going to be more about some marketing. We're going to talk a little bit more about e-commerce going forward, and because the business is evolving. So I'm back after being away for a while. Make no apologies for taking some time off because I wanted to, but again, I get to do this podcast and all of these episodes on YouTube and things because I enjoy doing them, and I always appreciate the feedback coming in. So pardon me for, when you go and we talk a little bit, it's hard to keep up without getting a dry mouth. So since I'm coughing, let me go ahead and end this and say aloha from Hawaii. And the next time I see you, I will be at the Canton Fair in China with Private Label Live, and we'll go and do some live podcasts there as well. So again, as always, thanks for watching, and good luck on your Amazon business.